to another episode of Elevate from Burnout to Bliss, the podcast that helps high-achieving professionals rediscover passion, purpose, and financial freedom.
We're your hosts. I'm Ebony.
And I'm Reggie.
And today's episode is one you'll want to lean into. We're sitting down with the man who turned vision into legacy, Darrell Thomas, CEO of Thomas Consultants, Inc.
Darrell is not only one of my closest friends and church members, he's a powerhouse entrepreneur and venture capitalist who built success from the ground up. In this episode, he's pulling back the curtains on what it really takes, the risks, the mindset, and the moments that pushed him to where he is today.
Whether you're thinking of launching a business or just need inspiration to chase what's next, this episode will stir something in you.
Buckle up.
It's time to elevate.
All right, guys, we're so excited to be back with you all again. Episode 2 of Season 2, man. It's great to be back on the air. You know, if you missed last week's episode, you definitely want to go back and catch it. We just did the hottest trending topics for the day. But you know what? Today, we're so excited to have, as I mentioned in the intro, this is one of my closest friends. He's been a mentor. Mm-hmm. He's my dirty joke teller. He's just a good partner of mine. But, y'all, we have in the studio today Mr. Darrell Thomas, man, and we are very excited to have him here.
What's up, DKT?
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
We're glad to have you, man.
Hopefully we can say something that will inspire, motivate, bless all the listeners.
That's exactly right.
So I'm going to get it started. Darrell, I know your story, but let's tell the listeners, let's start from the beginning and tell us about how you grew up and the early environment that helped shape you.
Grew up in the North Memphis, in the streets of North Memphis.
Streets
if
of
you're
North
from
Memphis.
here, you said North.
All right.
And my mother had me around a gentleman who owned rental property. He left his job at Firestone and started an electrical business.
Okay.
And so I watched him just creating his own, built his own house, and I guess that's what motivated me.
Okay.
And I used to ride with him to collect rent.
Really?
So I need to own property one day. People pay him once a month.
Oh, man.
Or weekly, because he had some places where folk paid him a week rooming houses.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so...
Did he have any idea?
Gaston.
Really?
One of them
Really?
was on Gaston.
Did he have any idea you was watching him like that, or he just thought you were just hanging out with him?
No, he didn't know it. He taught us how to wire houses as little boys. I was 9 years old, installing receptacles.
Wow.
I knew how to do it.
That
Still
shows
know
you the
how to do it.
importance of when adults take time with children.
Right.
Like, it doesn't always have to be a family member. It can be just someone from the neighborhood.
It don't
taking
always
the
have to
time.
be a sit-down classroom environment. They was learning just by being around.
Right.
That's good stuff.
And that's why now I love kids.
Yeah.
I spend time with them, you know, whether it be at church in the family. Kids think I'm a kid.
Right. That's right. I was definitely do. They want to race them and all this kind of stuff. So, Darrell, before you became an entrepreneur, I know that you didn't just start off as an entrepreneur, but the seed was planted in. But what was the steps in between there?
Went to school.
Okay.
I always did well in school and decided my degree is in biomedical engineering. I worked at St. Jude's for a few years in that. And then is when the magic happened. Seeing a need and fulfilling it. Dr. Ernest Payne, who's a member of our church at that time, he's deceased now, but one Mother's Day in 1986.
86, okay.
He called me and said, I got a computer, but I have no idea what to do with it. There's software on it, but I need you to show me how to do it. Up until that point, most physicians and dentists were paid people to type their insurance claims. Okay. And you got to mail them in. So we were trying to automate that back then. And I worked with him that day and got it done. And he says, I need to introduce you to the physicians and dentists in Memphis. And we started out with the black ones. That was the Shelby County Medical Society or Bluff City Medical Society, Shelby County Dental Society, I believe it was called at the time. And he sent a letter out introducing me to all of the physicians and dentists, black in Memphis.
Oh, man.
And he paid for the postage.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And that's how the company really got started.
Man.
Right.
And I started built a good reputation, knowing what I was doing, because I already understood technology, and started getting national endorsements, going to the National Dental Association, the National Medical Association. But then I was traveling all the time.
Right.
And it was just me.
And you were still at St. Jude at this time?
I started off at St. Jude, so I had to do the business at night.
Gotcha, okay.
In the evenings. And I remember a good friend of mine, I'd like to give people their props and name him, Homer Cody.
Okay.
He was an attorney. His wife was Barbara Duncan Cody. She's OBGYN. I always listen to older folk.
Yeah.
And he and I would talk, and he said, man, you know, if you really want to grow and scale this, you got to leave St. Jude.
Wow.
He said, so right now you're scared. He said, you got to quit being scared.
Come on now.
And he said, business is done during the day, not at night.
Yeah.
And so
That's true.
I resigned from St. Jude on a Tuesday and went back selling them products on Wednesday.
Really?
That's the way it happened. They thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Matter of fact, I later learned that some of the administrators had a bet that I'd be begging for my job back
Are you serious?
within 6 months, they said.
Yeah.
And that's been 39 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so somebody lost that bet.
That's
And
exactly right.
Just in the story so far, there's so many gems. I don't know if you guys realize that he said that the dentist sent the letters out for him.
And paid for the postage.
And paid for the postage. He was an advocate.
Right.
For him that helped Darrell launch his business, or at least launch the beginning, the spark of the business.
And that guy, like you said, he's deceased now, so he probably wasn't able to even see how far-reaching that one act has been. It's touched thousands of lives.
At his funeral at Longview Heights, I spoke and told that story that he's the reason. And I always looked out for him until he quit practicing.
That's all right.
He was an internal medicine physician, Dr. Ernest Payne. So,
Man.
God bless you. I look forward to joining you in heaven one day when we all get to heaven.
That's right.
Dr. Payne. But
So did you know, so prior to then, before that act, did you know you wanted to have your own business, or you just thought you were going to do a career as a biomedical engineer?
that was not my goal.
That wasn't the
to
goal.
be in business.
Okay.
Saw the need. Needs drive the best solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Fred Smith wanted to deliver packages.
That's right.
With the expediency, and look at what they had. He's dead and gone now.
Right.
But that company will be here probably until Jesus comes.
That's exactly right.
So, Darrell, can you walk us through some of your early business wins? What were some of those things that said, yeah, it kind of solidified or validated that you were on the right path?
All right. The biggest one, the first one that I recall is Memphis Transit Authority.
Okay.
We were doing some small things for them, but at one point they decided they were going to move away from the mainframe with dumb terminals to computer systems, Windows-based systems. And me and one tech, well, let me back up. They had it out as the solicitation was to do development to develop a software for transit systems. Mm-hmm. That's not what I do.
Okay.
You always got to know your lane.
Okay.
So I asked them to split that into two contracts. Let one be the network infrastructure and hardware, and then another one for companies that write software for transit systems.
Okay.
Because we've been reinventing the wheel. That was already an industry.
Gotcha.
And so they listened to me, and the board did that, and we won the contract.
Mm-hmm.
There were only two bidders.
Okay.
And the other bidder didn't sign his contract, his bid. Oh. So I won by default.
Yeah.
Yes, but that was a blessing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a coincidence or good luck or any of those things. The Lord orchestrated that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and from that point on, I never forget when they awarded us a contract. We got all the equipment in. Me and a gentleman named Mike Johnson installed all of that equipment in one night.
Oh wow!
Stayed there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. When everyone got to their offices and booted their computers up, there was a screen that says, "Thank you, TCI on your side."
Really?
We had that pop up just one time, flashed on everyone's screen, and been doing business with them ever since then.
Now, for everybody that listens, TCI is Thomas Consultants Inc. That's his company. That's all right, man. So let me ask you this. Now, you mentioned that you had to get them to split that contract. So for reference, about how old are you at this point when you're doing this? 20s?
In my 20s, early 20s.
Early 20s. So when you went before the Memphis Transit Board and asked them to split that up?
Yes.
Now, I know for people that wanted to get into government contracting, that can be daunting of itself, just learning how that whole world works.
Most definitely.
How did you maneuver that? Who got it? Did anybody guide you through that? You just figured out as you went along?
That was my question as well, because biomedical engineering is completely different from business. So along with the contracting and things, how did you learn those early business skills to even know to do that?
I have to tell you, it was God-given.
Okay.
I've never taken a business class in my life, but working at St. Jude's, I learned how to communicate and have confidence. And I'll tell any young person, one of the most important classes I've ever taken in college was oral communications.
Okay, yeah.
To learn how to talk. And they would make us speak and sell something to the class.
Right.
And that was not easy.
Right.
And I've learned how to do it, and I stress that in my company today. You must learn how to talk. So when I worked at St. Jude's, I got to know Danny Thomas. Matter of fact, we would call each other cousins because he was D. Thomas and I'm D. Thomas.
Okay.
And it was a small setting back then. I got to know the board of directors, and my job had nothing to do with communicating with the board.
Right.
I'm going to always find my way to learn to find out who's in power.
Okay.
Because I knew that's where the decisions were made. So I was comfortable when I went before the Memphis Transit Board, and I spoke with confidence. And when people can read when you have confidence,
That's
you
right.
know what you're doing.
That's right.
Definitely.
And they received it, and I went back and thanked them after we finished and said, thank you for entrusting your network infrastructure to this small business,
Right.
a local business, and it just grew from there. My next major contract was Shelby County government. We won a multimillion-dollar contract providing computers, and at that time, we were building our own computers.
Okay.
And that was there were people protesting that, said, how can you give him that? That's a small company, but we weren't building them in our garage either.
Okay.
I had an office. That was a real company.
Right.
If you want to be in business, you have to be a business.
Right. That's right.
I had a stock certificate where I owned all of the stock. I set the company up as a company. So when I was just a small company.
Right.
But there's no difference in a C Corp is a C Corp.
That's right. That's right.
And I started off that way, and even deciding to do it that way, it just made sense to me. I read something that says individuals make money, pay taxes, and they get to spend what's left. C corporations make money, spend
That's
it,
right.
and they pay taxes on what's left.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. Spend all they can. That's right. That just made sense.
That's right.
Man, that's very interesting, man. And again, going before the boards and navigating that whole world at a young age is like to be said. Now, I want to say something about what you just said as far as communicating. That's what concerns me when I look at the generation of my younger kids now. They don't really know how to communicate, man. They communicate in 160 characters or less.
Right.
And now that's been reduced to emojis. You know what I'm saying? So now you're down to about 50 characters.
Even create new emojis. I'm
Yeah, man.
or we can use
Initials
words.
and don't look you into your eye when they're talking to you. Weak handshakes. Some of this stuff has to go. I mean, some things will never change. People do business with people, and you can't reduce that to just computer screens and graphics. And at the end of the day, it's still a person somewhere making a decision.
So you have to be intentional about putting them in positions where they are forced to communicate.
Well, they got to talk to somebody. Have to talk to somebody. Well, man, that's good stuff. So early on, you got into the technology space. Now, Darrell, you said y'all were making computers back then. But back then, what was a computer costing back then for one computer?
Oh, man, that's a great question. One PC back then would be $5,000 to $6,000.
Really?
Gee whiz.
Yes.
And this is
In the
early
80s?
90s or
This
just
is
the 80s still?
Late 80s.
Late
Late
80s.
80s.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
they were very expensive. And you get into the 90s, the cost started coming down. And now they're commodities.
Right.
But it was and that's why, like in Dr. Payne's office, there was just one computer.
Just one.
Couldn't afford to have a network.
My mom worked for IBM when I was younger, so we had a computer at home when no one else that I knew had a computer, but I didn't realize that they were that expensive.
They were very expensive business systems, and you had these big, bulky, heavy monitors. and the hard drives were very small.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in fact, some of them didn't have hard drives; they had floppy disks.
Oh, I
yeah,
remember
I
those.
remember
Booted up from the disk. I mean, you didn't have, and then when modems came in, we had 1,200, even slower than that. I mean, everything was slow.
This is the embryo stages almost.
The dot matrix printer.
That's exactly right. So I got into business. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I actually remember the punch cards, but that was ending when I came along.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
I've heard of them.
That's what they used. That was the program in these punch cards they would put in. But things have advanced. So now a server. When we built the server, I remember building Memphis Transit Authority server.
Mm-hmm.
It would take you a day.
Man.
Because you have to put all these discs in,
Mm-hmm.
and if one disc fails or you have a problem, you got to start all over again.
Oh my goodness!
Now you just download everything now and push a button and it's done. Things are much more simpler. We had to know how to do knowing MS DOS.
Yeah.
You had Windows now,
Mm-hmm.
but before it was MS DOS, then Windows came.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to learn the codes to go out to the command prompt, and those commands still work to this day.
Wow.
But most younger engineers don't know any of that.
Right.
You don't have to learn that now.
Yeah.
So we were the smarter ones back then.
So was it difficult to stay relevant with the big changes in technology as the company grew?
You have to stay trained and get certifications.
Yes.
Because your knowledge will be outdated if you don't keep up with it. That is so true. It is totally different now. It's simpler now.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a server now, it comes already configured. You can just tell them what you want on it, and it's done.
It's done.
But we had to build them
Man.
and put everything in it. And then when you want to scale your business, I had to get out of building computers.
Right.
I didn't want to be a PC manufacturer. That was never my goal. So I partnered with the majors.
Mm-hmm.
The first partnership was probably IBM, and Dell came along. HP is our largest partner now, but I never thought. I've done business with some major players, and this small company from Memphis has been on the radar. I know of the CEO of HP.
Wow.
Some contracts that we won gotten their attention.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
They know what we're doing. So the Lord will put you in places, as they say, in high places.
High places.
Just stay humble and do good work.
That's it.
My goal was never to make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
My goal was to provide a service.
Mm.
You provide a quality service, the money will come.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you do it in the wrong order, you'll start doing whatever it takes to make the money. And then you get in trouble.
It'd be like a dog chasing its tail.
That's exactly right.
Wow. Well, y'all, listen. Stay with us through this break. As you're hearing, we're getting some very good jewels today from the one and only Mr. Darrell Thomas, CEO and visionary. Stay with us, y'all. Remember, it's time to elevate. And we are back. So in that first segment, guys, y'all heard Darrell talk about his early launch into business, the need that he was feeling. The fact that he didn't set out to be a business owner, but it went that way. But what I want to do, I want to go back, and what was really key, what I thought was key, he mentioned at least 2 or 3 names of people that were very instrumental in steering him that way, even though they may not have noticed what they were doing. But I know, because he and I have talked about it before, and just from being around, not everybody was giving you positive reinforcement. Darrell, tell us about, if you will, some of the negative comments you may have heard and how you dealt with that.
Oh yeah, that's a good question, and I can tell many stories about that. I'll start with my grandmother.
Okay.
When I'm working at St. Jude's, as they say, I'm making grown folk money.
Okay.
And when I quit, she said, "Have you lost your mind? You quit that good job to go into business. Why are you trying to do that?" Well, the rest is history on that one. And at church, I had one person told me, "Oh, you don't have what it takes to be in business. I know what it takes to do this." And it is. I just looked at that person.
Yeah.
Those are motivators.
Yeah.
I gotta ask though. So the person that said you didn't have what it takes to be in business, were they a business owner?
No.
Okay.
Never been in business a day in their life.
So
Never.
people will often discourage someone from doing something that they're scared to do themselves.
That's exactly
But let's go a layer deeper. This is your grandmother, one person who I know you look up to. This is your grandmother, and this is a church member who I'm assuming you looked up to as well.
Mm-hmm.
That can be very discouraging if you allow it to be. You know, these are two people who you feel like got your best interest at heart, telling you not to do something that you said not to do. So, for anybody listening, man, y'all hearing what he's saying? Not everyone is going to see or encourage your vision, but you may have to just push through on your own.
And there may be different reasons or different motivations behind what the discouragement. Like your grandmother, I'm 100% certain she just had your best interest at heart.
Right.
And she saw that you were already in a position where you had a good opportunity to do well and to give that up for something unknown. So not everything.
Right. It wasn't
all
malice.
Discouragement. Right.
It wasn't malicious.
Hers was, she came from the area, you get a good job, and you stay there.
Right.
She worked at one company.
Okay.
Just about all of her life. Mm-hmm. And that's what she knew. Even my mother, she asked me sometimes, where you learn all of this from? Yeah. And I tell her, I said, you taught me some of it. She didn't know she was teaching it to me.
Okay.
But even she didn't understand the importance of being on boards.
Right.
Like when I became an airport commissioner, she asked me, what's the purpose of that? Why you want to do that? I said, that's where the policies are made. I said, you don't want to wake up and people have already decided your fate.
Right.
You know, you want to be the one sitting at the table. And I learned the importance of that early on. Any organization I'm a part of, I want to be at the top. The one making the decisions. Because if not, people see this every day now. You look at Microsoft. Microsoft is laying off people by the thousands.
Sure is.
You never thought that you see that happen, and they're not the only ones. And
That's
these
right.
are people making decisions, sitting around the table. It's not personal. They don't know these folk they're laying off.
Right.
You know, so I just think you should be sitting at the table.
There you go.
Making the decision.
Well, Darrell, in that same vein, what are some of the more interesting boards that you served on?
Oh, the best is my church board.
Okay.
You know, in South Central Conference, you know, because that's the most important work you can do is kingdom building.
There you go.
And so I love being a part of my church.
Okay.
You know,
Absolutely.
And making those decisions. Outside of that, I've been on some interesting ones. I've had the privilege of being, it was called a med.
Okay.
Then I had a say-so in bringing the current president there, Dr. Coopwood. So being there, and I went to regional, the med, and after we hired Dr. Coopwood, we changed the name to Regional 1.
Gotcha.
I joked with him and said we named it after him.
Yeah.
Really Reginald 1.
Reginald 1.
Yes. But, you know, when I went there was some serious financial challenges. When we had board meetings, we discussing payroll.
Oh,
you know, making payroll. Louis Donaldson was the chairman of the board at that time, and Dr. Bruce Steinheimer was the president. I was born there. It was called John Gaston.
Really?
Then, so it plays holds.
No, I did not know that. I've heard people say John Gaston. I had no idea that's the same.
Yes.
Had no idea.
I actually did know that.
Did
One
you
of my
really?
old coworkers
I did not
told
know
me.
that.
If you go in the building and tour it, you'll see a section where they have it on the wall that, you know, John Gaston. So that's where I was born. So I want to see that place always thrive.
Yeah.
So it's always good. Most people run from organizations at their lowest. They want to be on boards when they're at their height.
That's right.
You know, I'm kind of opposite. We built that up and got reserves in. Then I left. I went back to being a vendor selling them products.
Got it.
And that one, I'm on the land use control board now. And
Well, tell everybody exactly what that particular board does.
if you spot some land you want to buy and it's zoned commercial,
Okay.
and you need to get that zoning changed for residential, it comes to us.
Gotcha.
And then if you need some special use permits, that comes before us.
Now, what would constitute a special use?
If you want to put something there that's unconventional,
Gotcha. Okay.
Like I'm in the RV, and if I want to build a garage for my RV, it may that's just an example. They may say, well, you need to, or I want to park a helicopter at my house, build a pad there. They may say, yeah, we need to.
Somebody got to look into that.
Yes.
I got you.
And then being an airport commissioner was very rewarding. My first day there, we were starting the idea of renovating our airport. And it's a 7-year term, and we finished it while I was there and opened it up. Yes, and so everyone by now, if you fly, I know you've seen the new. And what was interesting, I had the privilege of being there for people who left Memphis. So you flew to Atlanta and you came back the next day. We had it open. So you flew out of the old. I guarantee you, people thought they landed in the wrong city.
I don't know why not.
Yes,
it's nice. It's really nice.
It's really nice.
Yes, and being at the table, we picked the art, everything, the seats. I was a part of every decision made. The recharge, and being in IT, I wanted all of that.
Right.
So you can just sit your phone down on those, and then your phones are charged.
And a lot of other airports don't even have that
That's
yet.
right. Not yet.
That's right.
Eventually, everyone will have that. Even our bathrooms are high tech now. The restrooms, if you go in them, notice that.
And Memphis Airport got voted the #1 family-friendly airport.
Did.
Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I saw that.
All
I sure
right.
did.
So but all of this, the boards, if I were just working on a job, let's say still at St. Jude, none of that would happen.
None of that.
Because the people wouldn't even know me.
Right.
Because I'd just be going to work there every day.
Right.
Being in business takes you places that you just cannot imagine. Your talent, and the Lord opens doors for you. And I'm doing things, started a bank.
Yeah.
Back in the, that was in the late 90s. Up until then, Tri-State Bank was there were only 2 minority banks or black banks in the state of Tennessee, Citizens in Nashville and Tri-State. Tri-State, I think, well, now it's Liberty Bank have been bought, so we still have a black bank in Memphis. But we wanted to do one that was a little bit different. It was a black control. We had 51%, but it was the first bank that was started by blacks and whites.
Okay.
So we started, we call it Memphis First Community Bank. I remember sitting at the table when we decided what name. That was fun, just coming up with a name. But I'll just name some of the people, Pitt Hyde, the Belts family, Fred Smith, all of them bought small shares in this bank so it could be a true community bank.
A true community bank, wow.
And now that bank has morphed into first a landmark community bank that was very wealthy. Now it's Simmons Bank.
Gotcha. Okay.
So and Simmons Bank's $26 billion bank.
Right.
So I'm still a shareholder to this day in that bank.
Man,
wow,
that's all right.
That's awesome.
It is.
Never thought. I was the loan chairman.
Right, okay.
When we were there. And I had never had a dream of being in banking at all. But being in business, and if you're successful in business, because all of these things cost.
Right.
To invest in those, they don't give it to you.
Right.
You got to put some money in there.
That's right.
So
it's an investor.
Yeah.
You have to invest.
You gotta
That's
invest.
exactly right.
Man, that's good stuff. And if this part goes over, we'll pick it up in the next segment. One thing I know that's near and dear to your heart, as you mentioned being on those boards, is you've told me before you never just wanted a seat on the board, but you used your position to advocate for local-owned business as well as minority business. Talk to us about that.
And that's part of my downfall, where I get sideways with folks, especially if I'm the only African American on the board. The first day I was at the Med, the first board meeting, I asked the question, who do we bank with?
Yeah.
And they said, well, we have a small amount with I think it's like $100,000 CD. I said, oh, no, that's nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
Louis Donaldson asked me, well, what do you think we ought to be doing? I said, let's just give them as much as they want. And so we put $5 million with Tri-State.
Okay.
Wow.
And Tri-State didn't ask for that.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is there were other African Americans on this board before me, but the white board members told me no one has ever asked that question.
Never asked.
So we have to have people on boards that go there with a purpose.
Right.
And my purpose is to enrich our people.
Right.
I want to bless the organization.
Right, right.
But then our community is 70% African American.
That's right.
If we're the poorest, the city is in bad shape. You have to do something to enhance that. You know, there's a developer here, Henry Turley, and I'll put Billy Ogle in the same thing. Those guys are wealthy. They don't need my money or any other black person's investment. But Henry and I had a conversation one day. We met at the Grizzlies. We sit by each other at the Grizzlies game.
Okay.
And that's how we got to know each other. And he's building some apartments downtown and invited me to invest. And so, you know, me, I'm always ask questions. I got involved with the developments.
Yeah.
You know, but one thing I said, why did you invite me? He says, Darrell, it's not that I need your money. He says, you all are the majority of Memphis. We have to intentionally build wealth in the black community in Memphis to elevate this city.
Yeah.
Most people don't think that way.
They
That's
don't
exactly
have that
right.
burden.
That's exactly right.
Man.
Some black people don't.
That's exactly
They make
right.
it.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I move away, but I haven't made it until all of us make it.
There you go.
That's the way we have to look at that.
Man, that's powerful. Y'all, look, y'all stay with us. We got one more break. We're going to do this final segment. Stay with us through the break. Remember, it's time to elevate.
Hey, Elevate fam. Are you a business or brand looking to get in front of an audience that's all about leveling up in life, business, and mindset? Then let's partner up. The Elevate podcast is now accepting sponsors. That means you can get your brand heard by a growing community of go-getters, creatives, and purpose-driven listeners right here on the show. Whether it's a product shout-out, an ad spot, or a custom collaboration, we've got options for you. Want in? Hit us up at elevatenowtraining.com. Let's elevate together.
Today's episode is sponsored by P3 Financial Group, where we enrich the lives of our clients by helping them plan, protect, and prosper. Call P3 for all your tax and financial planning needs at 901-209-4015. That's 901-209-4015.
We're back. So, man, the first two segments have been awesome, and we've really hit some good jewels. I think you guys should be learning a whole lot from Darrell, and he's definitely made an impact on the community and his family. But I do want to know, has there ever been a time in business where you seriously considered giving up?
Never. Have there been challenges? Yes.
Okay.
But my personality, you just can't tell me no. I'll figure a way around you.
Yeah.
Even if it ticks you off. You know, because if I may get along with you, but then I have nothing. So if it takes going against the grain to achieve what I'm trying to do, I would do that.
Wow.
But I started this company. Back then, you had to have $1,000. I don't know if that was a bank requirement or a seek. I don't know what the requirement was, but I put $1,000 into Thomas Consultants, and it has grown from there. Never had to borrow money.
Wow.
And I thank the Lord for that, because most people have to start off with loans.
Right.
You know, I don't believe in being indebted. And you know, the company. So I've never regretted going into business. Never considered quitting. You know, but there are challenges in business. I tell people it's feast or famine.
Yeah.
You know, there's no in between. The payroll. I don't take credit for this statement. Someone said, Reggie, it may have been from you. I heard you, or you heard someone said, what side of the check do you sign?
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
You want to be the person that signing both sides of it, if anything.
Right.
But, you know, I sign the front side of the checks.
There you go.
You know, and that is, it doesn't matter how much money you offered me, I wouldn't take a job. That just, I would feel handcuffed.
Yeah.
That I don't have the freedom to do what I want to do. You know, and that's just a wonderful thing. Ebony, I know you worked on at a few places, but I believe this, without even that, I don't know what your answer would be, but I believe I know that this is the most fulfilling thing that you've done. Out of all the things you've done, you control this. It's yours.
Definitely.
You all created it. Your daughters see what you have done, and it should inspire them to want to take the same path, maybe a different industry, but still whatever you do it yourself. And education is still important. I wouldn't care if I was cutting grass.
Right.
That's right.
I don't want to be ignorant.
Yeah.
I want to understand, because some want to take everything you have if you don't have intelligence and knowledge and learning how to do things. But being in business has led to, I learned quickly to focus on net worth. You know, you die, typically you don't pass your salary on to your family. That salary stops right then, the day you die for most of us. But your net worth can be passed on to generations ahead. You know,
that's right.
We lost Fred Smith, a prominent citizen of Memphis. I would imagine his family is well off.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And I'm happy for them. I know the sadness of losing him. I've been around the leader of that family, and each and every one of us, I can cite many people in Memphis, prominent black folk, who I can see, Maceo Walker, Jesse Turner. These are folk who, the Walker family started Universal Life Insurance. It's gone now, but it was sold. It left wealth. Most of the pioneers of those are gone now. I look at R.S. Lewis Funeral Home. Tyrone Burroughs bought that, and they were most famous for embalming Martin Luther King.
Right.
Yeah. So it is, but being in business affords you so many opportunities to be in circles that you just normally wouldn't be in. I tell you one story. I tell all of you young folk listening to this, learn how to play golf.
Okay.
Golfing is very important. One, you get older, you won't be able to play basketball anymore. I don't care how good you are.
That's right.
That goes away, but you can play golf till you're 90. But I was playing in the FedEx St. Jude in a Pro-Am, and I was out on the practice tee, and this gentleman named Bill Gracie came over to me. This is about learning how to talk and not being intimidated and being outgoing. We were just hitting balls. He said, "So, young man, I'm Bill Gracie." I said, "I'm Darrell Thomas." I told him what I do. And he said, "Does my company," he's the CEO of Blue Cross and Blue Shield at the time. He said, "Do we do business with you?" I said, "No." He said, "You want to?"
Just like that.
Sure.
Just like that.
He sent the corporate jet to pick me up the next week. Flew me up to Chattanooga. We played around the golf.
All right.
And the next week, they placed their first order with me. It was over $1 million.
Man.
Wow.
So it's just like that.
Yeah.
But he was from the top. That's why now I'm kind of spoiled with organizations. I try to go to the top.
Right.
Because they can make the decisions.
Right.
Everybody can tell you no.
That's right. The janitor can tell you no. And I'm not hating on janitors. I'm just saying.
That's exactly right.
Now, I heard, speaking of that, Raven Simone, the actress, obviously she started acting when she was very young. So she was in this. One of the things that she said that stuck out to me was she does not talk to people who can't say yes.
That's
right.
So she only talks to the people that can say yes. If your only option is to say no, why am I wasting my time talking to you? I need to get to the yes. Right.
That's exactly right. You know, everybody's authorized to say no. But man, I want that person that can say yes, you have the business. If you're not the person, I'm wasting my time.
And the higher you go, the quicker the transactions move.
That's exactly right.
But I think it's fear. We talk a lot about fear in this podcast. Fear keeps a lot of people from trying to get to that person, trying to seek out that person. To check the box. Yeah, I reached out to FedEx, but I talked to someone in customer service about shipping computer. That clearly there's no relationship there. So, but fear keep a lot of people on the side.
And what's the worst that can happen?
Nothing.
They tell you no.
Right.
And then I'm gonna go above him. But you mentioned FedEx. I have a story on that one. Being in business as long as I have, I've attempted or done business with every company around here.
Okay.
So with FedEx in the 90s, I just could get nowhere, but I was shipping everything FedEx.
Okay.
Home, a Memphis company, I took pride in doing business with them. But everyone I would ask, every step, and it was white and black folk, no, you're not large enough to do business with FedEx. So I always knew people. I called a friend of mine. I said, where does Fred Smith get his mail? And they gave me that address. And I typed him up. I've never written long letters. It was maybe 2 sentences. And I basically said, I use you religiously, but your company won't do a penny of business with me. And I said, I would love to meet with you to tell you about my company. Now, he didn't meet with me, but the next day, and I didn't fax that letter to him. I didn't put it in the U.S. mail. I FedEx priority. I paid so that get to him the next day.
Right, via FedEx.
Yes. So he sent that to someone because they called me the next day. 2 weeks later, my first order, they ordered 10,000 U.S. robotics modems from me.
Wow.
It just by me sending that letter to him.
Man.
You know,
That's something.
That's exactly right.
Did he ever meet you, say, hey, I'm the guy that sent you that letter?
I never told him
Really?
that I was the person.
Man.
And I've met him in many occasions, been at fundraisers with him, talked to him, but I never mentioned I'm the one sent you that letter.
Yeah, that's all right, though, man.
Yeah.
That's all right. But, man, I want to flip the conversation up a little bit in the time we got left. I know a lot of what you've done, your business has allowed you to plant seeds and be venture capitalists in other ventures. When you're looking at a venture to invest in, what are some of the things that catches your eye?
The need.
The need. Okay.
If you're doing something that provides a need for society that's viable, and then looking at the background of the people. More recently, I didn't do a good job at that.
Okay.
You know about that, yeah. And just trusting folk when it's an industry that you don't know.
Right.
You can lose money. Up until then, I had never really lost money in any deals, but vetting the person and looking at their balance sheet.
Right.
You know, and if it's a startup that this is a new idea for them, in some cases I may not do it.
Right.
Okay.
You know, I want to make sure, you know, and seeing what they have to lose.
Right.
You know, what are you putting in there? But most of the ventures that I've looked into, most of your people who are qualified business people or certified, they'll bring a perspective to you that you can read that has truthful information in it that you can trust. And those have worked out very well. But when someone just come up out the street, say, I want you to invest. I had a guy, this is funny, but I almost slapped him. This guy came to my office, and I had my wife with me. Tina and I were newly married then. We were about to leave town, and this guy flew from L.A. to meet with me. Now, the first sign that I should have known is he was staying at my cousin's house on the couch, sleeping on the couch. And he took 10 flights to get to Memphis from L.A. I said, if you're a movie executive, I would think he'd be flying in on a nonstop flight, staying at a hotel.
Right.
So he wanted me to invest $100,000 in the movie. He'd actually been in movies.
Okay.
I'd seen him. But he was a shyster. So I said, well, what are you putting into this? Ebony, he pulled out a check. He said, well, I'm investing $100,000 in this. It was a check that he wrote to himself, that he signed. I said, that's your proof? I said, man, if you don't get out of my office. And that was it. I never heard from him again. I mean, but they figure, and a lot of people still do, we in the South, they think we're dumb.
They think we're slow.
Yeah, we slow folk. People from New York or L.A. think we the slowest people down. I said, we didn't get where we are being slow, man.
No, sir.
You know, so you have to scrutinize and be very careful in who you partner with.
Absolutely, absolutely.
success, we talk a lot about success and whether a business is successful or a person is successful. Is there a difference in how you define success now, looking back over your time as a business owner versus when you first started?
Oh, yes. I remember, man, your standards change.
Okay.
I used to say, if I could just, when I started Thomas Consulting, I said, if I could just do $25,000 a month in business, I said, I'll just be fine. I remember Homer telling me, he said, man, as years ago, that's nothing. You can't make it off of that. And, now I want that to be $25 million a month.
There you go.
So you want to broaden in your vision. It's like in churches. Churches are great examples. If you stand up in front of the church and say, that's going to cost us $50,000, and everyone in there said, whoo, Lord have mercy. You got to elevate your people's thinking.
That's right.
I want to hear it's going to cost $10 million.
Right. Yeah.
But we can generate $20 million by doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
You can't be afraid. And so there are no limits.
That's right.
To what we can achieve. You'll never achieve more than what you think you can.
Man.
So we got to change our mindsets, and that'll change who your friends are.
Yes.
In a lot of cases, and the class with teaching at church, Level Up. One of the first things I said to them, I said, if you thought this way, I want to get that out of your vocabulary, where everybody can't be millionaires. Everybody can't. Yeah, but you can.
That's right. That's right.
I do not, and I hear that from many people. There has to be somebody to work, but that don't mean I have to be the one.
That's right.
I want to be the one that owns it.
There you go.
So
just like you got to be somebody to work, you got to be somebody to own it.
That's exactly right. So you got to choose which one you want to be.
That's good stuff, man. Look, we probably got time for about one more question, and man, the time has just gone away. So, Darrell, is there a new project out there that excites you right now? You got a new project, anything that you're looking at, or something that excites you, that grabs your attention?
Yes. Interesting you mentioned that. Manufacturing. We have a product that we started actually about 5 years ago, but it's really ramping up now, called the Guardian.
Okay, tell us about that.
If you've seen these SkyCop cameras around the city, we have something that competes with that's better.
Okay.
And we have about 1,800 units up around the city. We in Memphis and Shelby County, we have them up around the county. And so if you're riding around and you see these flashing lights, just take a glance up there, because it may be one of mine.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
we actually make those here in Memphis. And it's homegrown with a local company, and that's what I spend most of my time working on now.
Okay.
We just had a meeting with the HBCUs, some type of conference they had 2 weeks ago in Memphis, where all of the HBCUs were represented here.
Man.
And we were the only ones in this industry advertising, and that's already paying dividends.
That's all
Wow.
right.
Yes. That's just the beauty of entrepreneurship. You can just think of things. The Lord will give you something in your sleep.
Yeah.
You wake up and say, whoa, I need that, and start a business doing it.
That's it.
You just, there are no limits. There are no limits.
So if you all have I guess it would be an organization, or you got a position in government that is responsible for securing and maintaining a large area, y'all need to reach out and get that Guardian product.
Definitely.
Get Thomas Consultants up. Well, man, the time, again, has just been well spent. Again, we've had Mr. Darrell Thomas here, CEO of Thomas Consultants.
Friend.
My partner, man, and he's dropped many, many jewels. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back on here again in the future. As a matter of fact, for you all that's really loyal listeners, you actually heard his wife in the first season. She gave us a really good health talk. So anyway, we're going to sign off, and y'all stay with us. We'll be back again next week. Remember, it's time to elevate.